This conference will now be recorded.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. We'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to the May 12th Advisory Board meeting. And I'll just remind everyone, as usual, this is a public meeting. We'll be updating this to YouTube after the meeting today. Also, if you're not speaking, please remember to mute your mic, and we'll go ahead and get started with roll call. Stephen?
Here.
Lieutenant Brett? Lieutenant Brett? Okay. Diane?
Here.
Jay?
Here.
Steve? Steve? Lisa?
I'm here.
Sherry?
I'm also here.
And Sergeant Joseph? Okay, so we don't have Lieutenant Brett and
Terrence, I just got on. This is Jason.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Sorry. Thank you.
No problem. All right, so we don't, Steve, are you on? Steve Birch and Sergeant Joseph? Okay, we have a fairly short agenda today, but I still want to proceed with the meeting. I think it's important that we have these as we continue to social distance here. As you can see, everyone is at one or two of us here in the office and trying to stay away from each other. So I hope everyone is safe. We're going to proceed with the agenda now and have the review and approval of the meeting minutes from our last meeting. Rachel?
Good afternoon, everyone. The last meeting was held on April 14th. The March 10th meeting minutes were reviewed and approved. Gary Didio presented an IVMV update for Phase 2. Craig Benner presented a brief Phase 2 OCM update. There was no stakeholder outreach update at the meeting. Janice Timmons presented a Phase 1 and Phase 2 financial review. Nathan Johnson presented a Phase 2 project update. Coral Griggs overviewed the Phase 2 communications plan. There was a brief Q&A at the bottom of page 2, and the meeting was adjourned at 2:51 p.m. And at the top of page 3, you can see the items that were distributed in a meeting packet prior to the meeting.
Any questions, comments, corrections? Is there a motion to approve? Not everybody at once.
Lieutenant Britt, for a motion to approve.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Is there a second?
Second. Lisa.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you. We'll mark these as approved.
Thank you.
Okay, next, IVMV update.
Thanks, Terrence. This is Gary. So a couple of quick things. The project is still doing well from an IV&V perspective. We have, I don't remember if last month we showed you we're now keeping track of individual milestones as well as major milestones for the project to project, to forecast whether they'll be early or late. The overall program right now, we're forecasting to be about 3.8 days late, which over the course of the program is not a real big deal. It's showing schedule variance is about 48 hours behind schedule, and that's easily made up in the time that's remaining in the project. Next slide, please. The one thing we felt it was really important to put into the reports is the COVID-19 and how it's a risk related to the project. The project team has successfully transitioned to basically an online presence, and we're finding that people are a bit more productive because they don't have to run 2 meetings. They can participate in the meetings virtually, and it seems like everybody's much more focused and getting things done on time. That's all I really have. I'll entertain any questions. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Gary. No questions for Gary. Stakeholder outreach is next. The only update I have there is that we have been working, in the last meeting we talked about, if the social distancing went beyond the end of the month, we want to start doing some of the meetings, focus group meetings and other outreach. We wanted to go ahead and do those online. And Lisa, I think, spoke up and said, yeah, Terrace, I think it's going to go beyond the end of the month. And of course, she was right. Here we are in May. So we've been working with Lisa to try and get a time frame for doing focus group meetings with some of the folks that she's put together from the tax collector community. And we're looking at, I think Lisa emailed us and thought that perhaps the second week of June would be best. So we're working towards that and getting those meetings scheduled to get some of the tax collector focus group members to look at some of the things that we have developed and some of the screens and giving them updates, that sort of thing. We also sooner, I've been working with Judy. We're going to have to work with the folks down in South Florida, the LPAs, I guess mainly where they're located. I know Carl had volunteered in our last call to help us with that. So we're gonna be reaching out there soon to try to look at maybe, Judy, don't throw anything at me when you can't because you're not here, but maybe toward the end of June or beginning of July. But we've got to get moving on some of those so we can try to stay on track, with not impacting schedules and some of the stuff that we need to make sure that we have. I think originally, before all of the COVID stuff hit, looking at maybe having that meeting the end of May, beginning of June, but it looks like we're gonna maybe have to adjust our schedule maybe about a month on that and try to get those together as well. So we are continuing that. We are planning to have, and we'll see how things go and what lessons we learned from the focus group meeting with Lisa. I know she also has volunteered to maybe scale back the meeting a little bit, so we'll work with her and see how things work as we try to do a lot of the stakeholder outreach. So any questions?
Now, I have questions, Terrence. This is
Okay.
Lisa. Which focus groups are you wanting? Title and registration, am I thinking right?
If I'm looking at my board right now, we have, Lisa, we have title and registration, I think, for half day, and then we have some printing we want to discuss. So we have that as a full day, and then we have high speed / fleet and globals overview, which of course that's inventory and all the stuff Jessica's working on. So we're looking at 2 full days. Jessica, Judy, CT, you all speak up if I missed anything. Anything you need to add for Lisa? And Lisa, we're working on an agenda to send you as well, but BAs, do you all have anything that I missed?
Do you want to set the meetings up or do you want me to do it?
I
can do the go-to meeting or however you want to do it that way.
Well, we'll probably set up the go-to meeting and send you the invite. I think that's how we normally do it, and have you forward to the members, or we can just verify with you, hey, are these still the members, and we can send it out. Which do you prefer, Lisa?
You send it to me and I'll send it out, and that way I can tell them we need to keep this to a smaller group because of the way we're going to run it.
Okay.
So we'll start that way.
Okay. And I think from an earlier discussion today, Jessica, CT, what 2 days were we looking at? We can take that offline with Lisa, but what 2 days that second week did we settle on 2 days that we thought, looking at our calendars and everything?
Wednesday and Thursday is what we talked about.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Jessica.
I'm sorry. We talked about doing it on Wednesday and Thursday, that first week of June.
Okay,
I think that's the 10th and the 11th.
okay, all right. But Lisa, we'll contact you and set up a meeting, a short meeting offline, just to prep, make sure we got it, we thought of everything and how we're going to handle questions. I know we have the chat window with GoToMeeting and all of that, but you're right, we have to make sure we work to keep it organized as we move forward. So
Yeah, it's going to be challenging.
yeah, I'm sure.
Hey, Terrence, this is Carl, and I don't know if this is the appropriate time, but I have a question concerning, you mentioned the stakeholder outreach and in the fleets, and so I don't know if I should ask the question now or wait to the end of the meeting.
Go ahead.
Okay. The last time we had a discussion concerning bulk title and registration, I think we all agreed that it was going to be part of the fleet team that was going to look into that. And J4's clients, our clients, are very interested in the bulk title and registration spec. And while we understand that they may be preliminary and early drafts, because of the interest, everyone would like it if you guys would consider publicizing your thoughts on what you're planning on including in bulk titles and registration, because it will help everyone in formulating any questions or comments or suggestions surrounding that.
Okay. Judy, any issues with us at a high level? I don't have any as far as putting out there what our thoughts are surrounding that. Judy?
We haven't created the actual spec yet, a preliminary spec, but we had some ideas that we formulated as to what we thought that would look like. So it'll just take us some time, a little bit of time to try to put something together. But sure, I don't have a problem with sharing it before we actually have the meeting with them so that they can come prepared to discuss what we've presented.
Okay.
Is it reasonable, you think, that we might get it either before or at least by the next scheduled advisory board meeting?
Yeah, so go ahead, Judy.
I don't know. I'm not sure what the next meeting is. I know we've got a couple other things we're trying to get off our plate with some demos that we've got coming up that we need to prepare for. And I guess the focus group meeting is prior to this meeting. So just got to try to figure out when to get some of those things done.
Carl, why don't we approach it this way? And we'll work with the LPAs to set up the next meeting. How far, and I know, you want it as soon as we can get it to you, but how far in advance would you like, that high level document with our thoughts or whatever prior to, how far in advance would they like it? 2 weeks?
Well, I would say at a minimal 2 weeks, Terrence, and
okay.
That would be helpful. And we recognize you guys are busy, so it's just a suggestion. And that way, hopefully, whenever we do get together, it'll be more productive. And the communication between you guys and the stakeholders will hopefully help everybody come to a consensus.
Yeah, I have no problem. I think it's a good idea to get it out there. People can give us their, at least have a chance to look over it and help us. I know that was a commitment that we made when we were there, that we would, once we came up with something, come back, discuss it, go over it before anything was finalized. I think we'll have Lisa in there again as well. I think she participated in the last meeting. Hopefully she can with this one as well, and we'll move forward. So we'll shoot for, at least give you that 2 weeks prior to whenever we get the meeting scheduled to give folks a chance to look it over. So.
Well, we appreciate that. And if you can give us additional lead time, we'll even appreciate that more.
Okay. I knew that was coming. All right.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions on this topic with stakeholder outreach? Okay. All right. Financial review, Janice?
Can't hear you, Janice.
Yeah, that would help, wouldn't it? Unmute, sorry. These financials are as of April 30th. And to start with phase one, this is our last year, 1920, which was 2.3 million. So our total funding for phase one was 37.3 million. Our actuals as of the end of April were 1.6. The remaining are in contracted services and just a little bit in expense, which we will spend before the end of June. So our fiscal year to date is 1.6 with a 0% variance, and our month to date is 160,000 with a 0% variance. We have $723,000 left for deliverables before the end of the fiscal year. And then phase two for 1920, the amount we received was 13.7 million, with the bulk of it being in contracted services. Our actuals through the end of April are 6.289 million, with 5.9 in contracted services. We have 3 procurements which are being finalized in the next 2 weeks. So those contracted services and expense lines will go up considerably before the end of June. And our budget to actuals are 6.2 with a 0% variance, and then month to date is 586,000 with a 0% variance, and the remaining funds for this fiscal year are 7.4 million. Are there any questions on the financials?
Okay, thank you, Janice. Nathan, project updates.
Hi, good afternoon. So we've included 2 stoplight reports for the development and testing efforts for phase 2, one for milestone B and one for milestone C. The functional areas for milestone B are different for each team. So teams A and B are focused on the NV issuance module within the Orion application, and the portal and fleet team are working on some different things. The portal and fleet team in milestone B completed the work for the standalone NV check application, which is an update to the existing NV check application. And they've gone on to work on the functional area that will be complete in milestone C, which is the motor vehicle records request functionality from a self-service perspective. Teams A and B are behind. They did not complete the milestone B functionality according to the original schedule. So they're continuing to work on that and working on the requirement refinement for the milestone C functionality. So milestone B for team A is the original title transaction for new and used, and that's all the way front to back, printing of the titles, issuing the issuance service, calling them business, and all that kind of thing. Team B for milestone B is focused on inquiring on customers, customer summaries, vehicle summaries, and other core functionality like a customer creation and updates. So team A, when they complete their milestone B functionality, they'll move on to working on the original regular registration transaction, and team B will pivot to working on inventory functions, which will take them to the next several milestones after that. Are there any questions around the overall status?
Okay, questions? Coral, you have a communications update today?
No, sir.
All right. Any general questions concerning phase 2 from anyone joining us on the call?
How is Informatica doing?
Is Sherilyn's not still on here, is she? No, she's not. They are still, Lisa, trying to work out some issues related to core, non-core, and all the things associated with Informatica. We're waiting to try to get some final dates from them that are due to us to see where they are and see if there's going to be an adjustment to where we are with our schedule.
Will you have those for our next advisory board meeting?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
Anyone else? Any other questions? All right, as I stated, short agenda today, but I thought it was still important to me to see if there are any questions to give you the updates that we have. And I appreciate you all joining us, and we will see you next month. Thank you all.
Bye, everyone.
Thank
So long.
you.
Thank
Stay
you.
safe.
Bye.